Hello, today's topic is about how the United States and South Korea apply universal healthcare concept. First, we're going to define what universal healthcare concept is. Universal healthcare refers to a healthcare system that provides services for all members of society. Universal healthcare encourages preventive and wellness care, which can treat conditions earlier and save money. It also ensures that all citizens receive healthcare, including people with pre-existing conditions and those who cannot afford insurance. Some people consider universal healthcare a basic human right. The United Nations also urged governments to promote the inclusion of universal health coverage in the implementation of the internationally agreed development goals as a means of promoting sustained, inclusive, and equitable growth, social cohesion, and well-being of the population. Here is a map that shows all the countries in the world that have universal healthcare coverage. In green, opinion vary as to whether the United States Affordable Care Act actually counts as universal healthcare. This map excludes the United States, for example, but others say its mandate provision means it comes close enough. The next thing we're going to talk about is Obamacare. We have all heard about Obamacare, but what exactly Obamacare is about? Obamacare or Obama Healthcare Reform is the unofficial name for Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. The Obama bills were signed into law by the President Obama on March 23, 2010. The bills enact reform to provide affordable health insurance to 44 million uninsured Americans and to reduce the growth in healthcare spending. Obamacare's goal is to provide affordable health insurance for all U.S. citizens and to reduce the growth in healthcare spending. The next video will talk about how the U.S. citizens get help from the new Health Care Act.
I'm constantly haunted by what's going to happen when there's no more coverage. What's going to happen if I have no more job that provides the insurance? What's going to happen when he hits the next cap and can't access the medication, can't access the treatment? That to me has been the hardest part.
When we found out we had a lifetime cap, I sat in the car and cried because I knew we were going to hit it and I didn't know how we were going to survive and how we were going to pay for all of this. So it's constantly having to think ahead 3 steps and trying to figure out what is our next option to be able to provide care for our son.
We knew that something didn't get passed, we were going to be in a lot of trouble. Our Constitution and the founding documents of our country talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and without health, you can't have any of that. So the Affordable Care Act has improved our quality of life. Knowing that we don't have to deal with the cap anymore means that we can focus on the best care and the proper care for his condition. He's going to get the care he needs. He's not going to face the complications that arise from not getting treatment that could endanger his health or even his life. Before, when we were dealing with the cap with my son, $1 million cap may seem like a lot, but when you have significant health care costs, cancer or MS or in our case hemophilia, you can burn through that pretty quickly. It was maybe $1,000 worth of medication a couple of years ago. Now it's about $3,000 a day. That cost increases every year. This is not an issue that's really confined to families like my own with kind of crazy, chronic, serious issues. It's something that runs across the entire fabric of society. Every kind of family, every kind of town. There's somebody who's got some kind of problem, and hopefully a lot of the protection issues in the Affordable Care Act are going to give them some benefit.
When we found out that Chris could possibly be covered under the Affordable Care Act with healthcare reform, I was thinking, oh no, that's not going to pass, And then I was like, oh my goodness, it happened. It really happened. When we saw some of the things that would impact us immediately, like him being able to be back on our insurance policy up to age 26, it was just a major relief.
one of the biggest proportion of people who are uninsured are young adults like you who are making the transition from college to their first job or to a graduate degree. And the fact that you guys are able to stay on your parents' health insurance up to the age of 26 obviously makes a huge difference.
I just see this plan as allowing me to kind of continue my education and just kind of absorb as much information as I possibly can.
My doctor had said to me when I was diagnosed with cancer, it's either going to be you're going to have to go into your retirement fund or you're going to die. Those are your choices. When that was signed, I mean, that just changed my life completely because then I knew I could get the treatments and I would be okay.
I want to thank you so much.
Because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And this is just from the bottom of my heart.
Look, it means so much. You had trouble buying health insurance before the pre-existing condition fund got set up. Is that right?
Right. I couldn't. There was no way I could. I was denied.
It's still a battle that you're fighting, but now you've got some allies on your side, and you don't have to spend all your time worrying about paying the bills. Sean and I are thinking of you, and I really appreciate you being willing to tell your story because I think what happened to you and your family can happen to anybody, and that's sort of one of the main messages that we wanted to deliver to people.
Yes, exactly. You're right.
So, next thing we're going to talk about South Korea National Health Insurance. South Korea achieved universal health insurance in 12 years. This remarkable achievement started modestly in 1977 when the government mandated medical insurance for employees and their dependents in large firms with more than 500 employees. In South Korea, national health insurance breaks burden of medical expenses up to all of the policyholders to nation feel secure in life and the registration is compelled by law. South Korea has pretty long-term trial and errors. First started on December 1963 and finally February 1999. The problem was solved and the law started in January 7, 2000. The next video is about scenarios, shows how national healthcare has helped a South Korean family.
This is Jane, who is 22 years old woman, middle class, who has a son Dan, 4 years old, and who has a father, Will, 65 years old. She earned $2,000 per month. Total she has to pay for national health insurance in Korea is $116, which is 5.8%. However, since she's working, she pays half percentage of it, which is 2.9%, and her boss has to pay rest of 2.9%. Now she only pay $58 per month. One day, her son Dan has symptoms include fever and stomach ache, so she take him to local hospital emergency. In this case, she only pay about $60 for emergency room fee in South Korea. Or if you go visit small private hospital near your home, you only pay $5 in general. Okay, here's Jane. Her wisdom tooth began to emerge. she has her wisdom tooth pulled at the dentist. In South Korea, there is an excess of about 30% under the national health insurance policy. So in this situation, she only pay about $30 to $50 in general. Okay, here is a will with Jane's father. He got a cancel. He just realized it. And he went to hospital. In South Korea, if he registered serious illness treatment in national health insurance, he can pay 5% of hospitalization and doctor's fee, plus pay 50% for meals in the hospital by 5 years. So the family paid about $18,000 for tour including surgery.
After watching this, we can see that the South Korea very successful in achieve universal healthcare. Will US achieve universal healthcare like that? The South Korean National Health Insurance is universal service. They recently changed their paradigm with treatment center to prevention center. In 2012, National Health Insurance customer satisfaction of public institution is 91.5% and still going up. So National Health Insurance is selected as a high-performing institution. Based on Korean experience with healthcare reform, we can make some lesson for the US. Ask some questions such as, is decentralization or unification more desirable for the initiation of a national health insurance program in the United States? The second question is, do we need to focus on the newly recognized role of governmental policy in regulating the supply side of the market? The third lesson emphasized the balance of power between the state and civil society. If the United States wants to establish any public system, such as National Health Insurance Program, the state must first of all transform the current private center healthcare system into public sector one. In addition, set treatment center paradigm to prevent center in order to increase nation satisfaction. Thank you for watching. Bye.